Oh, that's ridiculous.
Welcome to a little introduction, an explanation about how to use Google Forms to obviously make a test or a quiz or something like that, but then also use some auto marking features to save you a lot of time as far as collecting and grading work from people who respond to your form. So I've got a bit of a mock form here, just called it test. A good habit to get into is always make your first question a compulsory question, which is enter your name. Make a short answer, tick required. It's more important to the Flu if we're using the Flubaroo, which is an add-on that you can put in your Google Sheets, which again I find much easier to mark these things, but Google Forms also has an inbuilt way of turning it into a quiz, which I'll show you too. So yeah, make your first question always enter your name, short answer and required. And you can just see down here I've just added some mostly multiple choice questions like kids have to watch a video. What letter does Superman have in his chest? What is 1 plus 1? What is 6 plus 6? Which of these is not a continent? And I've made them all compulsory. I get in the habit of making sure all the questions are compulsory because students can't finish a test until they've at least answered every single question. So once you come up with your Google form and all your questions, you can come up here and toggle the settings. And there's probably a lot of things in there you really, it's a bit up to you, but collecting email addresses is pretty handy. But if you're getting people to enter their names, if they're doing it properly, you shouldn't have to collect email addresses. Limit to one response is pretty handy, I think. Respondents can edit after submit. I don't usually tick that. And see summary charts and text responses. I don't usually tick that either. Then you've got your presentation, show progress bar. That's sometimes handy. And a confirmation message to let students know that the test is over. You can go on with whatever it is that you need to go on with after the test. And then here's the quiz section, where I can actually turn all of the questions that I've just made into a quiz. So you can choose whether you immediately release the marks as they go through. It tells them whether they got it correct or incorrect. I like this feature a little bit more later after manual review. And respondents can see missed questions, point values, correct answers. Now I guess it depends on the type of test about which ones of those you're going to select. Missed questions is probably a good one. But if they're compulsory questions, if they're a required question, they're going to see that anyway, because when they go to submit the form, it will say you haven't properly filled in the form yet. So I've ticked that, make this a quiz. We'll click save. And then let's click on this question here. Oh, that's just a video really for this question. So I'm going to go down here to answer key. And what letter does Superman have in his chest? There's only one correct answer, the S. So I'm ticking that, selecting that as the right answer, and I'm going to assign a point value to it. So it's worth 1 mark. Then 1 plus 1, again, answer key. Let's say it is 2. Make that worth 2 points. Down here, again, answer key. 12 is the correct answer. Make that worth 2 points. And last one, which of these is not a continent? Answer key. New Zealand. We've got Brazil. And we've got Sweden. Let's make that worth 2 points each. For a total of 6 points. Okay. Cool. So that's ready to go. Then you would send your form out to the correct people. If you've got group emails ready, so if I put 6, you can see I've got all the contacts, 6 blue, 6 white, 6 gold. Put 3, year 3. I could put teachers in. I've got leadership team, school teachers, etc., etc. So you send it out to the correct respondents. Okay. So I've already put in 3 of my own fake responses to this. So if we've assigned it, if we've turned the form into a quiz, the responses come up like this. Gives you a summary table. Okay. So not a lot there. So 2 out of 3 of the respondents got it correct. One idiot said A. One person got that one wrong. see there. So it's pretty cool. That breaks it down really well. You can also see the individual responses. So the first person, let's see who this was, David Gilmore. You can see exactly what he answered. He got them all correct. Go through them. So that's Calvin Wigg. And then you can click on this button to export them to spreadsheets, which is probably more useful for your assessment, collection records. So click on that. And it'll give you this nice, neat spreadsheet here. So it told me, so it's got the name there, David Gilmore, he got 4 out of 4. Calvin Wigg got 3 out of 4. Damo Noobs got 0 out of 4. And then, has all the questions here. You can move that across if you want, just so you can see the whole question. What letter Superman have his chest? Yes, yes, yes. What is 1 plus 1? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, etc., etc. So it's kind of useful, I think. I find spreadsheets really useful for collecting just data in general. So that's the kind of inbuilt Google Forms way of doing things. But there's another really cool add-on, which I'll show in a sec, called Flubaroo, which I think is actually better than what Google's offering. So the other marking tool I really want to show you is an add-on called Flubaroo. And I find this much more effective and useful way of grading heaps of answers for me pretty much automatically. So Flubaroo, if you want to add it on, go to Sheets, click on your add-ons. You can see I've already got it installed, but all you need to do is click Get Add-ons, search for Flubaroo, and install it. So let's go back to the Google form that I had before. You can see the only setting that's different on this is I'm not making this a quiz, so there's no need at all to tick that for this. Okay, so let's click Cancel there. It's super important the first time, once you've completed your Google form or your test or whatever it is, that you actually fill it in. So when you send it out to whoever it is, it's probably a good idea to send it to yourself first. So I put my school email in, obviously send it. I've done that and I filled it in already. And when you fill it in, you make sure you put all of the correct answers in for each question, and I'll show you why that's important in a moment. So you go through what letter does Superman have in his chest, S, with your name, so I'll show you in a minute why it's important that you put your name when you put the correct answers. So once that's all been done, you would send your form out to all the people who it needs to go to. So if it's kids in 5 gold, send them all to 5 gold, and that's how it goes. So I've already got 3 mock responses for this. I'm not going to worry about the way we're looking at it for. This is summary. Sometimes there's pie charts, and they are useful sometimes to look at the info or the individual responses. But it's when we open the responses or view them in sheets, this is where Flubaroo is really going to kick in and do a lot of the hard work for you. So you can see there I've got all these sets of data. So timestamp when it was answered. And you can see the email it was used with, so it's from my email each time, but I've just put a dummy name to highlight. Okay. So we go to add-ons, Flubaroo. I graded the assignment already, but it would usually say grade assignment if you're doing it for the first time. I'm just doing the exact same thing. Yes, that's fine. That won't pop up for you either for the first time. So grading step 1. So it looks at all of these columns. Column A, it just goes, oh, their email addresses, no need to mark that. Column B, more things to, starts at column B, then column C, email addresses and your name. No grade for that. Then for the question, what letter does Superman have in his chest? Do you want to give it a, do you want to grade it by hand? That means you're just going to put a mark in. And that's useful for, I guess, responses that are a little bit more subjective. So if it was, students were writing, a couple of sentences or even a paragraph about something, that's something Flubaroo can't really help you answer. But things where it's just a value, especially mathematical questions, that's when you would just do normal grading. If they selected the right answer, You give it a point value. Let's say that's worth 2. Normal grading, that's worth 2 points. That's worth 2 points. Make that worth 3 points. Okay? So if they get that right, they're getting 3 points for that question. Continue. Now, the bit I said before about making sure that once you've completed all the questions in the form, and it's really important that you go through and then answer all the questions correctly, that's because it's looking at all the submission times and the people who've already contributed to the form. So the very first person should be you, which in this case it was me, Gareth Wigg, and I know that I put all the right answers in. So it's going to use all the answers that were given from this person, from this time I entered the data, and that's how it's going to mark the rest of the test based on the answers in this. Okay, so I go continue, and now it's doing the grading for me. Cool. So based we're looking at Calvin Wigg, got a total of 6 points. So out of the whole test, he scored 66.67%. What letter did he have? Time submitted. What letter tells you the exact answers. So they're highlighted 2220. And as you can see, it's put that in a little bit of a yellow just to highlight that they're different people. Ned Hadley, unfortunately, got 0. And what letter does Superman have his chest? It gives you a score out of all of your students. It tells you here, 50% of them scored correctly, 50%, 50%, and none of them got this correct. So you can see it gives you a lot of really good data there, which is really, really good. So hopefully you find that useful. Obviously, we don't have a really big set of data here. We're only using 2 people's answers. But when you've got a whole class on here, it really breaks down. You can quite clearly see how well they've gone overall in the test. You'll be able to see trends, like which questions are all students getting right, which questions are they all getting wrong, and things like that. But yeah, Flu is probably the way to go, but the quiz function in Google Forms might be useful for you too.